Welcome back to another RFP Rapid Fire podcast. I'm Mac Hutchinson here in Boston. I've got Pankaj Jain over there in Pune, India, and of course Jerry Keogh and Gerard McCabe in New York City. We got the summer series going, guys. They are right there in New York City, in the borough of Queens, I believe, guys. Where are you right now?
We're in Jackson Heights, which is like a northwestern corner of Queens, right across the river from Manhattan, just about. Beautiful neighborhood.
It is
Yeah,
the real
looks
New York
great.
City. So if you guys watch Law and Order, it always starts in Manhattan, but it always ends in Queens. This is where you get that gritty New York City neighborhood. And Gerard, show our friends here this beautiful urban development that they got going here.
This is a
Yeah.
street that's closed off. Only pedestrians can use it. No cars allowed. And then if you keep on going, there's this beautiful park right here. And it's interesting because it's a passive lawn, it's called. So you can't have any pets or you can't play any sports on it. It's like this quiet
Hmm.
piece of land in this urban area that's like a little
Wow.
oasis from the madness of any big city. But
Yeah.
obviously New York's
Or
a
even
big one.
frankly, because New York City, especially in the boroughs, if you go down to where the F train is where I go afterwards to get into my office, is that it's just a hop and a skip. From Manhattan. So if you're in your little tourist booklets and you're just going around those one little places and standing online, you got to shoot over here. They got the best restaurants from Southeast Asia, from East Asia. There's a great one of the best Irish pubs here, the Ready Penny. I'll give that over and over again. There's many a pre-St. Patrick's Day that I spent in that place.
2 stops outside of Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's right here.
There's no reason
That's
for you
fantastic.
not to go to it. And then what's really fantastic is like your choices from they're Colombian, a lot of South American communities here, Colombian bakeries, which I'm going to hit on my way home.
I believe that there's 128 languages spoken in this congressional district. A friend of ours, Joe Crowley, used to be the congressman here, and he was very
Hmm.
proud of that, how diverse his congressional district was. And we are sitting right in the middle of it. So it's a real slice of America, land of immigrants.
There you
Love
go.
It's
that,
what
guys.
drives this country. Why we're such a great country.
Amen. Hey, listen,
100%.
Matt, what's great about the summer series is we're showing you people out there in MGSN land, in Thinklyn land that, we're doing this. I'm doing a staycation. I'm home for the month of August for the first time in a billion years. And I'm going from borough to borough to show you how easy it is to get to these places and how you're going to get a New York City experience that you would never get from a travel agent unless it was pillow and tea.
And we're dispelling the myth that somehow New York City is not a safe place to go, not a safe place
Hmm.
to visit, a safe place to go out and have a nice dinner. People that don't live here, who don't come here, they get this perception that somehow, you can't, it's not safe to come to the city. And the city is 5 boroughs, not just Manhattan.
That's
Mhm.
correct. Matter of fact, I question Manhattan sometimes. uh, anyway, back to you, Mac. I don't want to steal away your show.
Yeah. No, I love this is the best part of the summer series, keeping it real, in real time. And of course, people that are used to watching the RFP, we talk about a lot of the development that we're doing, a lot of the opportunities that are happening globally. And it's exciting times right now. We have a bunch of products that are rolling out. We, of course, got Demo 26 coming up in Charlotte, New York, and Boston later this autumn. So if you want to go check out more information there, go to thinklyn.events. And for as far as the products that we're actually going to be demoing at Demo, it's pretty exciting. We have, of course, Thinklyn Publishing House we've been talking about. We always do the Author's Corner here. We got, of course, 3 of our great authors that are going to be launching Thinklyn Publishing House. We already have Gerard McCabe's book on the platform. You can go to thinklynpublishinghouse.com to go check that out. But we have, of course, a lot of other products that we're developing within AI. And I think the coolest part about the RFP is that these are also our weekly development meetings. So it's a way for the audience to take a look and see exactly what we're developing, exactly what we're discussing. And Pankaj, I'm glad that we have you here all the way from Pune, India, because the AI expert. There's so much been going on with AI. There's so much that we've been developing internally and verifying and developing within AI as well. And I think the number one question that I know everyone's having right now is, okay, where's this going? What can I do with it? There's so many opportunities. There's so many tools. Right now, what our company works very closely with a company here in Boston, Lovable, to develop our platforms. But I think a lot of people are looking at these platforms and these tools, seeing where's the value, what is possible, what is legal, how am I able to develop these products so easily, which is great, but then scale them. And I think one of the big things that we're looking into is how do we scale these products for particular companies, for particular clients that we have. But for especially vibe coding, just wanted to get your thoughts because we haven't we missed you last week. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that, and of course, we're really looking forward to your book coming up. Of course, on IP, just one of the top global IP lawyers, and we're just excited to have you back on.
Thank you so much, Mac. It is really an honor always to be a part of this podcast and a wonderful 360-degree view from Gerard of of the entire place. So that's really good. Uh, so Mac, I have been working on IP since really long time, and for the first time, I've realized the content which is getting evolved and which is getting transformed so fast, and the way the output is getting generated is getting evolved day by day in a very different form. So, the I would say the emerging form of content that has been coming every day has always been different than the previous day. So that is kind of leading us to, as IP lawyer, to think in a very different way on what will happen to this new emerged form of content, AI generated content, which was differently generated maybe a day before. So every day we are getting AI generated content which is different than how it was generated previously because of the evolution of AI and the transformation of AI that is happening almost differently on every new occasion. So considering that, what we've realized is the basic concept of intellectual property, the basic concept of copyright, which is human authorship, human creativity, which is required. That particular concept, the basic concept, remains the same throughout, whether it was in the world much before AI came into picture, whether it is today after AI is there, and whether it would be tomorrow, which would be probably in some other emerging form of AI or maybe something else. The bottom line is, if there is human creativity to the product, if there is human input to the product, substantial creativity that goes in the product when it was generated, and also once it is generated, to that output, if there is substantial human involvement, even to that output with its own creativity, with human skill involved, then and then only there can be proprietorship or copyright over that particular content. So what I'm trying to say is, irrespective of any form of content, whether it was before AI, post AI, or maybe in future, we need to remain and stick with the basic concepts of intellectual property law. Mac.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that you brought up the concept of, I mean, it is moving so fast. And from my perspective, from like as a digital developer, it's interesting. You're seeing all these startups pop up, and you're starting to see people starting to think in, a couple months down the line, when you're starting to think into the future, you almost have to plan for technology and tools that don't even exist yet, which is a very difficult thing to ask a founder or for operators to do. It's almost like you have to kind of think about, this is the end product I have. Maybe the tools don't exist yet, but we can see where AI is moving to, and almost to have just some main goals about what you want to accomplish and kind of focus around that versus what it is, which it seems very bizarre right now. But I think one of the things that is very real, which is Thinklyn Publishing House has been doing, and other publishers, when you're working with some sort of AI generated, whether it's language, whether it's copyright, whether it's images, whether it's videos, having that disclaimer there I know we've talked about this before, Pankaj, but how important is that? And I know for us at Thinklyn Publishing House, we're trying to lead the way for other people to be able, and other creators and authors to be able to go down this route because it's, I think, very important to have that there so people are very aware of what they're digesting.
Yeah, Mac. I think disclaimer is very, very important today because I would say, if you go on any kind of social media platforms, if you go, anywhere, somewhere, let's you talk about Instagram, if you talk about Facebook, what are, the videos that are, the short videos that are coming up, out of 10, I would say maybe these days 6 to 7 videos, you would feel that it is real, but actually it is AI generated. So it is really, really important that there is a disclaimer, not just with respect to how the content was generated, but also with respect to how much human intervention, how much human authorship is involved. So the disclaimer has to be very, 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 very clear. It has to be very unambiguous, and it need not just mention whether it was generated, whether this is AI generated or not, but it also needs to mention how much human authorship has been considered when this AI generated output was displayed. So I think it is really important for the disclaimer to be very specific, very clear, so that it is clear to the public at large.
I agree, but I think it's very important, especially right now as we're transitioning. Humanity's kind of going through this transition from, being kind of thrown AI at their face, not really knowing about it, to the I think future, which I think it becomes a little more ingrained into our daily lives.
Well, it's
I
also
think
magnified by the volatility in our political discourse and in society in general. There's a tremendous amount of misinformation that's being created and generated and just put on social media. And there are no disclaimers. There are no rules right now. As Pankaj has stated, it's so important for, like Jerry and I have had this discussion about regulation. Jerry's not really a regulation guy, although I think he would agree with me on this one. There's got to be some regulation when it comes to creating AI and putting it out there on the social media. There's got to be ground rules. There's got to be disclaimers. Right now, you just don't know.
Well, there's one thing
yeah.
I want to point. First of all, one of the things at Thinklyn Publishing House is it's about democratization of content and publishing and book writers and authors and manuscript writers. Right now, a very elite group of traditional publishing houses who are tied into corporate media and profits for the very few control whether a book will come to the market, a manuscript will come to the market.
Hmm.
Sometimes in the indie space, you get people who break through. But what's great about the emergence of the digital publishing companies is companies like yours that will say, hey, if you got a manuscript or you have a book and you really can't afford a literary agent, and when you submit to a publishing house, they look at the book not from the creative content, can this make us money? And what's great about digital publishing companies like Thinklyn is that it offers that opportunity out there. And keep in mind, there's a new generation that has been brought up on AI, and AI is a tool. I think what the consuming public is looking for is that disclaimer that exactly Pankaj talked about. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about on a pool. If I can X my cameraman, just go into this urban development that was over here. You see, somebody had a vision to turn this very heavy, congested urban street into this pedestrian walkway, which has improved the quality of life of people living in New York City. And they're in all 5 boroughs that you'll see this. Now, it took forever for this conversion. I know this section of the city very well. It took forever for this to come because it was hard to look at somebody who drew a concept and then sort of put it into play. Now, if you use AI by taking a skilled engineer, a skilled designer, and they start working on a video, then all of a sudden the capability of getting past, I really don't see what you're saying. It enhances the communication, and then everybody knows that that was a tool, that was a product that was designed from this tool of AI. Now, I want to point out to a great honor that I had, thanks to you, Mac. I got an invitation to write the forward to Pankash's book, and I've known Pankaj for well over a decade. We've worked on very, very complicated cases and transactions over the years. And there's a unique thing that you're seeing here. Most lawyers around the world are either litigators or they're transactions. There's very few who do both. But sitting here at your table here, Mac, your virtual table, I might add, is three lawyers who do both. One of the things I absolutely rely on is Pankash's concept on AI and the emergence, excuse me, not AI, intellectual property and the emergence of intellectual property, and how lawyers are really, really struggling with, is this a tool or not a tool? Now, what I loved about Pankash's book is that he, and I've read the manuscript, he used AI in order to present the real value of the tool and not to treat it as some sort of cancer to stay away from. He actually keeps in there to show his point that here are the actual bubbles that you get up when you use in AI, not to hide from it, but to embrace it, because it was his prompt engineering that was based on all of those years. And remember, he is an IP author. He wrote he wrote a great IP book while he was a defense attorney and a litigator in a prominent law firm. It shows you just how that skill set. And I had a transaction. I worked on two transactions actually with Pankaj, where it was really, really hard as to how to navigate whether we had patents, and his expertise was absolutely immaculate, and we were able to save a ton of money based on that. And now when you see a guy like that saying, don't shun yourself from the tool, maybe this beautiful pedestrian walkway could have been done a lot easier and a lot quicker and a lot cheaper had they had that AI tool available to them. And I will say this, if you are a young person, if you're just going to write me a book about space, and then you sit back and you just watch TV all day, that's not prompt engineering. Prompt engineering and vibe coding depends on a very dedicated interaction with the tool and the human, with the human controlling it. The byproduct is the byproduct of skilled intellectual property rooted vibe coding and skilled LLM, using that large language machine, using that prompt engineering that's quite clear and quite distinct and rooted in this expertise. That's what's in this book. It has taken me a while to write the foreword because there's so much to say about Pankaj. But I urge you to, if you're an author and you have some things to say, and you're going to use AI the way Pankaj will teach you how to use AI when you're writing manuscripts for shows or plays. I'm currently writing a manuscript for a show right now, and I'm following along. I use AI as a tool to say, okay, I need to refine this concept. Then I don't show. I have two ways to go, and I run it through it. And then usually, what I do is I rewrite this thing on my own experiences on the topic that I'm driving at. So, I think it's real important if you look at the way in Pankash's book, and I believe that will be. I think we're looking at a 2-week publishing point for that to actually be published. Then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The other thing I also want to just give you a shout out, Mac, was that so Gerard McCabe's book is published. It's on the Thinklyn Publishing House. But Gerard has very prominent clients, and they want to see his book. They want it in hard copy. Lawyers love hard copies. They like to put them on the tables and what have you. And you've developed a brand new platform for the hard copy publishing format. So I just want to give you a big thumbs up. You have your peer-to-peer. Every week, it seems that the publishing house is grown by leaps and bounds. You have your peer review that we discussed on last week's RFP, and now you have this hardcore publishing for clients who want that, or for libraries who want that, because there are going to be there's going to be law libraries that want books like what Gerard has, because how deeply, intensely the client attorney relationship is something that's really the underlying hero of Gerard's story. How well he envelops, develops, and embraces that relationship. That's a real important thing, because sometimes lawyers aren't popular. That's not this guy. He's very popular, not only here in New Jack City, but wherever this guy goes. Anyway, I just want to throw that out to you, Mac.
Hey,
Yeah, very, very, very
last
exciting.
word on this environment that we're in. It is what, almost 9 o'clock here in New York City. Before this environment changed and became like a little oasis, this would be rush hour. This would be one car backed up after another car with a lot of honking and a lot of, just stress and, not peaceful at all. And right now we're like, it's like you're in Venice. I woke up in Venice one morning and it would just freak me out because I was right on the street,
Hmm.
but there were no cars honking. No cars in Venice. They don't exist. And it just threw me for a loop, but I embraced it. It was such a peaceful place to be. And I feel like that's where I am right now. It's amazing. And here we are right in the middle of Jackson Heights, New York.
Hey, by the way, another little shout out in the New York demo. Pankaj is going to be presenting The Missing Link. This is the development of exactly like this urban developments in the corridor between Mumbai and Pune. And there's nobody more skilled in this than Pankaj, but a guy like Pankaj will be able to marshal that AI tool and not let that AI tool overrun him and disclose everything, so everybody knows exactly what his prompt engineering was to get that and to develop something like this in half the time and and a fraction of the cost.
100%, guys. I appreciate the time, and like you said, Jerry, Pankaj will all try to teach you how to take advantage of AI, but how to protect yourself from AI as well. So I think there's things to be aware of on both sides, but again, there's so much potential here, and it's a really exciting time. Pankaj, again, your intellectual property, your IP expertise is incredible. We're really excited about publishing your book. Again, for people that are interested, thinklynpublishinghouse.com. You can check out Pankaj's book coming out. You got Gerard McCabe's book coming out, already out right now, digital version, and the hard copy's coming on its way. And Jerry, I couldn't agree more. We've said this a bunch of times, but the better the input, the better the output. And I think you need two things. I think you need your expertise coming into AI. So what you accomplished, what you learned over your entire life, to put into the input in AI is a huge value point. But also you have to work with the tool. You have to learn how to prompt. So you have to, if you can do both, if you can have all of your expertise coming into it, but then also if you can work months and months and we're getting up to a couple years now
Mac,
working with AI, that's the key.
sorry, Mac, just
Yeah.
before the closing, I would like to make a mention here about a very interesting thing. What should be compared? You know, let's say today, whatever we are seeing, what AI is generating, what are we doing? I mean, today, the newest form, the emerging form of AI is a person using different tools and putting prompts in different tools and probably accumulating those tools and then generating the output and then reviewing the output and then actually using it. So I think that can be compared with the traditional form of data compilation. So data compilation is a very old theory
Mm.
which has already been established under copyright. You cannot own the copyright for the original public data which is available, but you can own the copyright for the compilation the way you do it. And
Yep.
not just that, while compiling it, if you're creating your own different set of data, then you can definitely not just apply for copyright or go for copyright protection on the compilation the way it has been done, but also to the data if it is a completely new set of data that you have come out with. So that's exactly what we can apply to the AI generated result, where you cannot own copyright for the result, but for the prompts that you are giving in, for the output, if you have used it in such a way and you've you've reviewed it and you've substantially modified it, then you can claim copyright to the output as well. So that's what my submission is, Mac.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Pankaj. It's very clarifying, and I think for people that are they get too overwhelmed with some of the technical terms or some of the legal terms. I think in engineering terms, I think another way that I look at it from a developer, from a creator's point of perspective, is that you also got to look at it like as if it's your AI is an artist in a way where you have a painter that has all the different paints and everything, doesn't necessarily design made the paints, but he takes all these different things and over time he's able to get better and better at it. And he explores a bunch of different mediums. Maybe he does poetry, or maybe he does, watercolors, or a bunch of different things. He finally gets to the point where his finished product, over years and years and years of prompting or whatever it is, he finally has that finished product. And I think that at the end of the day, that's what you're protecting. I think that's similar to what you're saying, Pankaj. That is yours. That output, wasn't just all those little things. It was over time using all those different things and learning the skills behind it. At the end of the day, and I think for people, again, I would just say go explore these tools, go spend time on them. We're learning so much more than we learned even just a year ago that was very, very elementary. Now we're getting to levels where new terms are coming in. People are talking about how to figure out the best way to use different tools and work together. I mean, it's getting a little more complex now, which is exciting. So go explore these tools. There's so much opportunity out there. Um,
Well said,
Guys,
Matt. Well said.
thank you so much. Love the background, and of course, this is a great setting. New York, Pune, Boston. We're all over the globe. We're all over the world, and we're trying to bring these opportunities to you guys. Please continue to follow us on MGSN, Facebook, mgsn.net, and of course on YouTube as well. And as always, folks, go start your startup, and we'll see you next week.